Hello everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. You know what time it is? It's time for another Inkarnate live stream. Yeah. We're going to be Points of Interest Part 3. That's with the Fantasy World style. I'm excited about this. The last couple have been really fun. Happy Monday. Hey, Musical Rogue. Yes, some familiar faces I love. So glad to see you here. Awesome. I took last week off for birthday stuff, and so I'm back, and I'm excited to hop back onto the horse and get going. Love this doing streams with you all, and of course we've been listening to our viewers on YouTube as well, and be adding more time lapses. So I'm excited about that. So again, today we're creating points of interest with the Fantasy World style, and we made 3 or 4 last time. We're gonna try to make as many as possible in this one with the time that we have. There's no announcements that other announcements that I know of at the moment, so let's just not waste any more time and jump in. I'm going to edit the map and get started. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and I'm so glad to be sharing my time with you on my Monday with y'all. That's great. All right, here we go. So let's look at what we've already got. Some fun stuff here. We don't have very many villages, but we do seem to get a little more excited about the Tower, Castle, and the Wonders. Getting carried away, right? No wonder, huh? Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and take a look at the ones we haven't done yet. There's a lot of villages and towns that haven't been done yet. If there's any one of these that interests you, let me know. We've got Dwarf, Orc, Human, Elves, and Undead. So go ahead and let me know what you think would be best, and I will gladly do that. First person who makes a suggestion, that's the first one I'm going to do, and I'll just go in that order. So pick the one that you want, and we'll go first come, first serve, all right? Yes. Excited. Undead Town, says Doggy Crimson. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we got Undead down here. Looks like that second row is the town. And I'm going to take a look at my already existing Undead right now and take a look at them and kind of glean. And what I try to do is, if you're going to be making a set like these, you want to make sure there's continuity, so you don't want them to be totally different from each other. So I've got purplish, pink, and green in the theme, so I should probably stick with that theme. So we'll go zoom into town here. First steps with making a POI is to add a landmass. Normally when you're making your world map, you'll already have the landmass on there, but sometimes POIs, or points of interest, there may not be some landmass that you want to put it on. So first pick like a mountain, a hill, a stamp. Those work great, and the reason why is because for most POIs, points of interest, whether a town, village, city, whatever, height, elevation gives you a tactical advantage. So it's always nice to place some kind of land feature underneath, or even if it's like a pit, you can put something in a pit as well. Use some kind of land feature stamp for starters. Use that as your base, and then you're going to build up on top of that. I'm going to take a step back and see, have I already done a pit? See, I've done a pit here, so let's not do that. Let's instead use maybe some dark mountains. I noticed in this one I used dark mountains. Let's open it up. Let's see here. It is, yeah, dark mountains large. Let's use those. Let's stick with that. Let's pick a large one. If it's going to be a town, maybe we should create one central piece. So there's like a central location. It could be a tower in the center of the town. It could be maybe like a lighthouse of some kind. It can be a temple, whatever it is you want. That's going to be the central focus piece of the composition. So I like to start with my centerpiece first. So I see these towers here with the purple on them. I kind of like that. Maybe I should keep with that theme. So I'll open this back up. What's really nice with making your own stuff is that you can copy and paste it, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste what I want here, put it in here like this. I'm going to delete what I don't want. So I'll just get rid of all the fancy stamps here. I'm going to keep that tower, and I'll probably group it and maybe make some changes to it. So let's just go ahead and group. Now I can put that tower right on top. And what's nice now is I didn't do as much work, right? I did it a little bit faster. See how quick that was? It only took a couple moments just to pick the landmass shape, the landmass stamp, and then put a central thing on it. I'm just stealing right from here. And then from there, I can populate around the tower. Because it's the central piece, you would expect pieces to go around it, right? Not too complex. I've been pretty good, Doggy Crimson. Good to see you. How was my week? It was great, Yeesh. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it was great. I hope you all had a great weekend, of course. Mondays are not the best, but at least we get to share them together, right? So that's that central piece. Now, I've also used like kind of these dwarven. I've used elves for the towers and the central piece in this one. This is a city, it looks like. I can use these same pieces if I want. I can even stack them to create high rises. So if I want, I can maybe put one right here, go up a layer, of course, shrink it down, and make maybe kind of like this pyramid shape kind of design. So let's go ahead and go up another layer so it's on top, of course, and then put another one on top like that. And so you kind of have this interesting looking shape. Let's go ahead and take that center one and center it a little bit more. Make sure that the pieces are lined up. So you have, and then I can even put something on top of that if I wanted to. I can put a spike or put some other weird shape on top of it. Remember, we're using not the flat front-facing stamps like these right here. We're using the isometric in specifically. So I can pick something to go on top if I want. Maybe something circular. I can put maybe something with a dome on top. So I can choose blue if I want, or switch over to purple. So if I place that down, I notice that I've got purple as my theme. I can go to advanced settings and go to hue. Let me boost the saturation up so that we can kind of see it better. And I'll change the hue until I get that purple color that I want. I got it. And then I can just go ahead and place this right on top of all of that and just say that it's kind of a roof piece. Like that. Okay, then I'm just going to group, and I can make as many of these at different sizes that I want. Let's hug it right against it like this. Let's say one right there. And let's place another one, copy paste, and I'll open it up. Everything gets selected when you open a group. For the first time, when you open it right away, everything's selected. That's great in this instance. I'm going to go ahead and just flip it, and I might have to do some adjusting just a little bit. And this way I kind of have another one facing a different direction. There we go, another one there and there. And then if I want, I can even maybe make it a little bit bigger like this and just hug it up against here like this if I want. And I don't even think that's the right size. Let me bring this one down a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little better. There we go. And then from there, we can just throw in some smaller ones like this. So I'll place in a couple here, here, here. I want to make sure that some are overlapping. I mention this in every video, overlap. You notice that these ones right here are overlapping this kind of pyramid one. That's perfect. It's exactly what you want to do, right? And then maybe I can make some circular ones as well. So let me place that one down, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look at it. And of course, boost that saturation and then change the hue again and get that purple that I want. Or I can make another color to throw in a green. I kind of like that idea. See, we already have green right here. So let's throw in another element that's green. So maybe I'll put that here like that. So now I have at least the two colors that I'm using, that kind of purplish lavender color plus that green. So now I'm doing in both. Now I have this nice continuity. Hey, first time chat. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hey, Brian. Yes. All my favorite people are here. Yes. My shark mouth is also puking rainbows right now. So awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the town. I'm going to take a zoom out just to also get the scale right. You know, I think that looks fine. And you know what we can also do is throw in some of these also, these pieces behind. So I put it like that just to see where it's at. And then I can go ahead and click a layer below. And this way I'm adding more depth. It looks like some of these are behind. And let's also flip it like this as well, because they all seem to be facing in the same direction. So I'll take a couple and have them facing the other way as well, because it looks a little weird, right? So I'll fix that. Let's put one right there too. There we go. I think that looks about right. We can also add in something a little bit more landmass shape. Instead of creating like a natural a wall made of wall stamps that goes around it, let's create some sharp, jagged rocks that act as a defense. Are there any plans for modern assets? That's a great question. I don't actually have the answer to that, but you can do requests at our excuse me, we can do requests on our Discord channel. Absolutely. Thank you, Cheryl, for grabbing that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to create, these look like they're a little too wide. They don't work well as jagged spikes, right? So what I want to do is go to that transform feature. It's in advanced settings, so if you don't see it, you'll have to click advanced settings, and of course you might have to scroll down a little bit to get to some of the settings. So transform, I'm going to go with the width. Now watch, I'm going to go ahead and turn these into spikes. So now I have some nice spikes here. I'm going to bring the size down, and let's just put some large ones first in different locations. One here. Let's also put one in the back. Let's bring a size down or two and put some more spikes in there. Okay, we're creating natural defenses to go around this kind of thing here. So I'll keep bringing the size down as I place more and more. Okay, but put one, maybe make sure that's in front of that one. Oops, see how that's at -2. These ones in the front need to be a layer above, of course. They need to be in front because that's the foreground. Then I'll keep adding these smaller spikes, and what's really helpful is to add the smaller ones next to the larger ones, because it looks a little odd when you have a single spike just standing around like that. It's like, well, wait a minute. It's nice to throw in a couple of them to really give it that nice kind of natural feel to it. And you can even have some facing in kind of different directions to kind of give it a kind of chaotic, disoriented look. I mean, when you're thinking about, when you're making a POI, you want to think about the theme. This is undead, so I kind of think of like scary, chaotic, brainless zombies that enjoy eating your brains, num 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 num. Because brains are delicious, taste like chicken. So what do you expect? You know, can't blame them. A lot of people like chicken. If you don't like chicken, that's cool too. But I tell you what, the zombie dead hordes, they have a very strict brained diet. You know, they don't really venture off from brains. And when they do, that's impressive. They're probably not a zombie then. Okay. All right. Okay, let's take a look so far. I think this looks pretty good. We've added in the spikes to kind of give it that kind of a defensive position. One last thing you can do if you want, again, is you can take those same stamps that you were using, these dark stamps, dark ones, and you can kind of take a larger one, and you can still mess with the width and the height. So if I stretch one way out and then bring the height down a little bit and then take it to -5, I can kind of continue to add a little bit more to it. You see, I'll add another one there, and maybe I can put another one underneath. It's a bit different. Let's go with something. Let's go with this one. And then I can go ahead and flatten this out a little bit, bring the size down. And I kind of want to make sure that the spikes are connecting with these stamps that I'm putting down. So this one right here looks like it's hovering. So let's put it on top, right? Let's take another one of these large ones right here. I'm going to copy paste it. I'm going to flip it like this. And then make sure, again, that the stamps are pretty much on top of it. So let's go one more like this. I think that looks okay. Let's go ahead and make sure to put these on top of any peaks. This one right here, let's put it on top of that mountain peak. That way it doesn't look odd. So we've kind of created this sense of depth, and we've added in some spikes. And that always looks nice. And you can always throw a couple off to the side to help to break up these long line work. If you look carefully, you'll see the line work protrudes quite a bit off to the side, and that look can look weird. So to break up that odd line work, we'll add in some spikes so that way it doesn't look weird. And nobody likes weird, unless it's intentionally weird because you're going for the clicks, edgelords. Okay, here we go. I think that looks cool. Let's go ahead and maybe group everything. And there we go. Let's do that. And of course, as always, when you've created your POI, you want to make sure that you blend the texture underneath of whatever your POI is. So there should be lots of darker textures that are going to match pretty well with that dark mountain that you've been using as your landscape, right? So not complex, right? You can also break up more of the kind of oddness by throwing in some hills, because when you have a mountain, mountains or some high, you expect some foothills maybe. So let's throw in dark hills maybe. I think that'd be a good idea. I just need to say maybe about 10 more times. That's all. Let's throw in some rando hills here like this, and that just kind of gives it a little bit more character. Remember, just start with large ones first and then move your way down in scale. So that way it kind of has a little more realistic work feel to it, and of course overlap, overlap, overlap. There we go. Let's also throw some in the back, as you would kind of expect. Oopsie, that's rotating. What I'm hoping for was to kind of increase the size. There we go. Oops, still not in the background. Naughty. There we go. Throw a couple in the back there, of course. There we go, much better. And now you've kind of finished that transition. So that way there's a nice smooth transition from the central point, that central piece, which is that tower in this town, and then it kind of goes down into where you've got some larger buildings, those kind of pyramids. And then you have that green domed building, of course. And when you're making your city POIs, towns, and villages, don't worry about making a massive city. You only need to add in maybe several buildings. I even overkilled it here a little bit with so many buildings, but that's up to you. Remember, a POI is a representation of a city. It's not the city itself, right? You can just use the watercolor cities to kind of create the full city. Or if you're feeling risque, you can use fantasy regional or fantasy world, whatever style you want to use for cities. Obviously watercolor cities is specific to that style. So, but yeah, be risky, try new things, right? All right, so I think this looks pretty good. I think we're done. Oh, so who's next? Did I miss one? Let me scroll up and see what people mentioned here. Undead Town, we just finished. Unless there's something about this one that you feel needs more, I think it's kind of okay. I could throw in some roads or something, but I think Undead is kind of chaotic, so I think it works. So what's next, folks? What are you thinking? What should be next? I'll go ahead and zoom out real quick so you can take a look, and I'll save while you take a look. Please let me know what interests you, and we will make that next. First come, first serve. Don't forget. Let's just save real quick while you do that. Can we say how you would create a high elf city on a mountain with tall towers? Well, let me see if I have an elf city. I think I already have an elf city, but are you thinking maybe an elf town? Because I can do that. As soon as it's finished saving, we'll go over what we have. Dwarf something. We only have 2. Absolutely. I agree with that. So we got high elf city on a mountain. This would just be a POI, okay, Geesh? So it would not be the full-on city. Just remember. So let's do that. We'll do that in that order. A high elves town, because I think we already have a city. But we'll do a high elf town on top of a mountain. I think that sounds great. And then following that, we'll do a dwarf something. All right, cool. All right. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. So we already have an elf capital, but not an elf city. So I was mistaken. Yes, we get to do an elf city. We have elf castle, a wonder. That's my favorite one. Oh, but yeah, let's go ahead and start with the elf city, of course. And you said on top of a mountain. Okay, so of course, where do we start? I know I'm, kind of repeating myself, but we start, of course, with the landscape first. Geesh said that they wanted on top of a mountain. So we're obviously going to want to pick a mountain stamp. So let's go ahead and take a look. I do believe we have the brown mountains. I think brown works pretty good with green. So, and you said high elves, so that might just be no color whatsoever. Maybe we could go with pure white because it's high elves, kind of an ivory feel to it. I think that might work. If I'm going to do that, then I want to think also what mountain stamp is going to work well with these ivory-like elven structures, right? So I could go with more white with these kind of gray mountains. I can go with the dark mountains. Whatever mountain you think is going to work best with that white kind of ivory look. I think a dark brown might look good because it's going to be so white. So in my mind, I'm thinking contrast. If I'm going to have this really light ivory looking features, then I'm probably going to think that maybe to make sure that pops out, I'm going to have a darker color for my mountains. If you had ivory mountains on top of ivory structures, then they might kind of blend together, and maybe you're aiming for that too, right? When we think of structures that are built in real life, we think about the materials that is immediately available to you within the immediate vicinity. So if there's a white mountain rock, then you might also expect the buildings built from that material would also be of that similar color, right? So it's up to you how you want to go about it. So I think I'll just test the white on white just to see how it looks. And if it doesn't work, I can change that mountain at any time. Okay, let's first pick the proper mountain that I want to use. Let's turn off my filter real quick because it's causing some lag. So I'm going to just delete that real quick. There we go. Good. Don't need that filter on anymore. Still a little laggy, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shift through the different, by clicking the Alt or Command key and using my mouse scroll wheel, I'm going to scroll through a series of these to find the one that I like the best. I kind of like this one right here. And you'll notice right away that it's kind of not very tall, right? So one thing you can do, of course, is that transform tool and hit that height, and you can really get some extra height in there, okay? That helps. You can also stack mountains on top of each other as well, and I'll show you how to do that. First, let's put this piece on layer 0, and then the next stamp I select, it's going to be the same mountains. I'm going to bring it down a layer. Now, when you're stacking mountains on top of each other, what I like to do is to make sure that the line work lines up. So if I put this right here, I have to make sure that the line work kind of lines up properly. Right? So you see that I'm kind of stacking a little bit to give it some extra base, make the base a little thicker, right? From there, I can go in and kind of put some mountains in the foreground as well. So if I want, I can put another mountain and put it in the foreground like this, okay? So now I kind of have that shape that I like. And then from there, I can also just select the whole thing and kind of just transform, oopsie, not the height, my mistake, the width. There we go. All right, there we go. That's a little better, okay? Now, once I finished that, I might want to consider adding some foothills or just some smaller mountains at the base. It's always nice to throw in just a couple at the base just to kind of create more transition, because what you have at that base is just kind of, it just seems flat, like there's not going along at the base. So transitioning is super important when I'm putting down landscape. So I'll throw in a couple smaller variations of the mountains off to the side here. And what I'm trying to do is to remove the concept of symmetry, okay? When you look in nature and you look at the mountain ranges, there's not a lot of symmetry to it. And so the more natural look is a more asymmetrical look. That's just, and this is my personal opinion and experience, but it's of course not, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, okay? But for me personally, I'm always, when I'm making my landmass features, I'm always trying to make sure that there's very little symmetry. You only need to add a little bit of symmetry on top of the asymmetry. And the reason why you do that is because what makes things pop out is opposite, right? If I have a lot of asymmetry and then I add one element that's very symmetrical, it's going to be very clear that that symmetrical piece is going to pop out. It's going to be the focal point because everything else is asymmetrical. Now, when I say asymmetrical, I just mean that there's not going to be two of the same size mountains side by side of the larger mountain, right? That would create some symmetry. You'll notice those two smaller mountains are on the left, right? And there's not another two in the same positioning on the other side, okay? So asymmetry is something that you find in nature, and then you can add something symmetrical on top of that landscape to make it pop out, right? So that's my suggestion for that. So now I want to create something for a city to be on top, okay? So I'm going to go probably check out some of my elven stuff, and I'll just go ahead and type in elf like this, and it should pop in here, and we can look at all these pieces. Now, I've already used this capital piece already, and so I feel like I shouldn't be using that one, right? So instead, let's use a different one. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to place it. I'm going to make it big first because I always like to, when I scale something up, it gives me a better view of what I'm working with, right? So I can zoom in and I have a better view of it, and I like that. I'm going to jump over to filters. I have it selected. I'm going to bring the saturation all the way to 0. So I'm removing all the color, okay? And then I'm going to boost that brightness to give it that ivory feel to it, right? So nice and bright. Now I can increase contrast if I want, or I can drop the contrast down. It's up to you on just how much you want, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep the contrast at 100. I think that's fine, but I will boost the brightness up a little bit more. Okay, now of course I wanna make sure that this is on a proper layer. It's above all of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and place this. And whenever I place things, the way that I do it is I'm always paying attention that the base of the stamp that I'm working with does not in space. You see how, look to the left. You'll notice that the base of this stamp is floating off in space. It's not resting on anything. So whenever you're placing a stamp on a kind of a human shaped or a structure on top of landmass, you want to make sure that, of course, that the base is resting on something. Otherwise, it doesn't have a foundation, right? You want to have a foundation. That's what that landmass shape is for, right? Now, you also mentioned a tower. So I'm just going to make sure that I just use the same settings that I probably did with this one, with the tower one. And I'll put the tower up at top. I would expect the tower to be at the peak, the apex, right? So I'll go ahead and place that first at the top. It's there. Now I can go ahead and bring the saturation down and boost up the brightness. And now you have that tower at the top. Now you can add another tower if you wanted to, copy paste, because there's a couple peaks. There's a peak right here. I can go ahead and take this peak right here and let's bring it down a little bit more. It's a little too high. The peak is at the same height as the base of these stamps that I'm using, and that looks weird. I want to create different levels of depth. So instead, I'll bring the height down. Now the apex of that, or the peak, is not at the same level. I'll give you an example what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. So if you'll notice right here, this is where the base of the stamps were. And now I've brought the peak down of this one. And the reason why I've done that is because it's going to look like it's just a weird conglomeration of stamps. And so bringing this peak down allows me to do a little bit more depth. So I can go here and bring it down a little bit more, bring it down even more, because I'm using a tall tower. So now I take this tower and then put it up a layer and just put it right on top. And you'll notice that the door is also on the ridge. Look carefully. See, the door to this tower is nicely aligned along the ridge where you would expect to be a road, a path, whatever, right? Okay. So now we've added in that, and it doesn't have to be a tower if you don't want it to be. And if it's too tall and you don't want it overlapping that, you can also change the transform tool, the height, just to bring it down. This way, it's not quite as imposing as this tower, the one at the top. The tower at the peak seems to be the central focus. So let's go ahead and shrink down the smaller one. Last step, you can throw in, since it's a city, you can throw in a couple more smaller buildings. Now you don't have to add in a lot, just a couple, right? Just a few. All right, let's go ahead and take this one. I like this. Just like I did before, I'm trying to keep the continuity. So back to filters, saturation, bring the brightness up. Then I want to go ahead and place that just maybe right on top of maybe one of these. So now you have a little bit more going on, a little bit more action. I'll go ahead and remove those paths. They look ugly. I mean, I like the purple, but the paths are not helping with the beauty, okay? Let's delete those. There you go. Oh, no, that's not right. Naughty. There we go. Hey, what up? Hey, I'm glad you're here, White. Awesome. Cool. All right. Oop, you know, this is a little too dark. I think I'm going to boost that brightness up a little bit more. Yeah, and I think I should boost the brightness up this one a little bit more as well. There we go. Okay, so you kind of have a tall mountain peak with some buildings. We can throw in one more building. You don't have to, remember, you don't have to throw in a lot. Remember, just a couple works just fine, okay? You're just doing the representation of a city and not the whole city. Spare yourself. It's going well, and I am so glad you are here. Let's throw in a couple more. I'm going to throw one right on top of this ridge right here. I think that looks kind of nice. There we go, and I'll even line it up to where the ridge behind it is even touching with the base to kind of give it a little bit of continuity, so the eye is kind of going, well, let's take a look. The last thing that I kind of expect is to probably throw in some green. Now, because I'm using grays and whites, every color looks good, okay? Let's maybe throw in something fun. Let's maybe throw in, besides green, let's throw in maybe purple trees. I think that might be kind of fun. Maybe a little bit more fun, right? So let's throw in this tree right here. Now I'm going to edit this tree before I place it down, okay? Because I want every stamp after I place with this to be the same kind of color and dimension. So let's go through hue. Let's throw in purple because I think purple works well with gray and white. I mean, any color does because gray and white are complementary to whatever color you throw down, but they are high elves. So, and the reason why they're high is because they've got these awesome purple trees surrounding the base. You know, who knows what they're doing with those trees, okay? So I'll just throw a couple down. You're not going to throw in a huge forest. I'm just going to throw a couple at the base. And what I'm doing is kind of hiding some of the line work of the base of the mountain so it doesn't look so okay, so I'll throw in a couple there. Make sure you also throw some in the background. So I'll go below like this. So some trees are in behind the mountain, of course. And we might want to also throw just a couple at the top. Throw in just a couple. So let's maybe throw in, and we'll bring the size down a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to put them a little bit at the base of up here because you see the line work at the base of this one looks weird. So if I throw in just a couple trees, just a couple here like this, it kind of looks interesting. You can throw a couple in that are maybe steep and you want to show that there's some steepness to it. You can rotate the trees like this to kind of create that there's a slope and bring the size down, of course. Maybe have a couple lined up along that ridge, right? And put a couple on the top like that. So this, and then of course, throw a couple small ones at the here as well. For me, what creates more kind of realism in the natures is a variety, right? Different sizes. If they're all the same size, it looks kind of weird, right? All right, here we go. So I think we're almost done with this one. Oh, we've done 2 already in 30 minutes. Impressive. Sweet, we're moving right along. I like it. There we go. Okay, so now you kind of have some trees there. I'm going to also remove this because I think it's a little too much. There we go. Much better. Let's go ahead and select it all. Let's group it. And now you have a kind of high elf whatever. And you know, what's really cool about this is with these trees is that you can change them to any color you want. So I just type in tree and select all of them and I could just go through the range of colors that I want. You prefer the greens, you prefer that kind of green, you prefer some, you know, blues, you prefer kind of this darkish blue color. I mean, honestly, I think they all look good. Red looks good. I did like that devilishly looking blue right there though. That was kind of nice. Maybe boost the brightness a little bit. Yeah, I do like the blue. That's nice. Could bring in the contrast to kind of maybe darken the line work. I mean, there's so many different options, right? So all kinds of things you can do. You could even use the path tool to throw in some glow into your POIs. I've mentioned this before in the past. Yes, in the past. I'm going to add a shadow because it's I'm pretending that these paths are a light source, right? So I'm going to make sure there's a shadow. I'll put it down and just see how it looks first. There we go. Make sure it's the right size. So I'll bring down the width just a little bit because I'm going to be adding in the little baby windows, right? So I'll go ahead and throw in blue. And of course, you got to make sure it's the right layer. There you go, blue. And you can also go through the different blend modes if you'd want, lighten, screen, color dodge, all the different ones that you can kind of go through. I kind of like hard light. That looks good. And I'll go ahead and fill in whatever windows are there with this kind of glow, right? Just to kind of give it that kind of a nice feel to it. There we go. So you got some blue windows there. Now you kind of matches with the blue, right? And then we're done with that. So I think that was pretty cool. I might scale it down a little bit smaller because I think that the capital should probably be a little bit more bigger than the city. So let's bring it down right here, a little bit bigger, like there. I think that works just fine. Yeah, works for me. Yeah, and then there's all these other things that you could do. You could create what is the name of that town from Lord of the Rings? Gosh dang it, that's that giant city. You could, you know, you could create some platforms or something that creates this giant platform or the temple. I mean, there's all kinds of fun ideas. So, but lots of different suggestions. My suggestion, though, is that if you're looking for inspiration, besides looking at my stuff and other people's stuff, shameless. Yeah, Gondor. Look, I'm shameless promotion. You can always look at my work. But there's tons of different maps, of course, on, you know, Pinterest. Go on our Explore page. Go on Google Images or whatever your browser choice is. So, you know, draw inspiration from whoever you like, or grab it from, you know, wherever you like your choices. So I think we're done unless people feel like this is So I think it's okay. All right, yeah, I would love to give it a Gondor feel. So I'm going to save it for now. And I'm going to try to do as many as possible in this stream. So I think that's good for now, but you can always stack up stamps flat. Let's say that you've got like a flat stamp from whatever set you want. You can always flatten it. Now, what's great about when you desaturate stamps like this, see how I desaturated those elf stamps, is that once you desaturate them, they remove the color scheme. So really, you could use any style, any race affiliated stamp that you want, because you've completely removed the color, right? So it doesn't matter. You could use whatever ones you want because the color scheme has been removed. So any stamp works, all right? I think the next one that was mentioned was dwarf something, if I remember correctly. Let me take a look. Yeah, we only have, oh no, we have 3 dwarf, or is it orc? Which one was it? Did someone say dwarf? I think, yeah, dwarf something. Yes, it was Becca. All right, well, I think we should do a dwarf something. I think that's a great idea. I'm also going to refresh the page because I've saved. So I'm just going to refresh the page. We'll let that refresh. Feel free to ask any questions. Always glad to help. I really love this series. Creating points of interest is a really great practice. It's a exercise for you to kind of get better. So next time when you've kind of made all these, the next time you go to your world map and you're like, you know what, I kind of feel like this single stamp that I've used to represent the dwarves, you know, it could be some beefing up. So what you can do with this knowledge is you can go back to your older maps and really just go ahead and beef up your points of interest by adding some more stuff to it, because that's the point of this exercise. Eventually we'll be adding the feature, I'm sure, the group to stamp feature. That's highly requested. So, and the cat's weren't even out of the bag on that one. So once that gets added in, of course, you'll be able to, you know, clone and edit and use, or be able to use any of these. I'll be sure to make a heck of a lot more points of interest in the future when that feature eventually gets added, okay? Me too, Moody Mushroom. Woo, 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 woo. I'm so excited. Welcome, by the way, first time chat. Glad that you spoke up. All right, so we've gone ahead and we're going to do dwarves. There's a village, a capital, a temple, a tower. So first come, first serve. Someone wants to mention which one you want. Go ahead and pick that and let me know, and we'll go in. So dwarf, what is it? Let me know. Drum roll. What's it going to be? Oh, let me know. What is it? It's dwarf something. Ah, Dwarf Tower. Awesome. Okay, I like that. So we're going to add in a dwarf tower. Thank you. So our tower is right here. Now I'm going to look at my other dwarf POIs and just take a look at them, and to make sure that I maintain this kind of theme. So I've kind of got like, ooh, this looks like a mining town, as you would kind of expect with dwarves. You've got like, now you've got a much larger city here with a pit included with a lot more buildings and stuff. So I think a dwarf tower would be good. Let's put a dwarf tower maybe on a hill, and then maybe on the hill there's a mine underneath. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to turn off my custom stamps. And I'm going to take a look. I think, let me see what stamps I've been using here. Kind of a brownish look to it. So I think that works great. So let's go ahead and move in here. So brown hills. I'm going to use kind of the same kind of style of stamp that was used. Let's go through the hill choices. Let's go with a lumpy one. And let's go with a single hump. Oh, no, I think this one should be good. Multiple humps is good. I like the humps. All right, we'll go to that advanced settings, and we're going to go with that transform again, just to give it that extra height, you know, because, I mean, these hills are kind of more like bumps. And I want more than little bumps. These are like pimples. I don't want pimples. I want meaty hills. Give me your meaty hills. All your meaty hills. Right now. Okay. We got a meaty hill here. And then we can go ahead and go in and kind of take a look at maybe some caves. There's a nice cave right here. I think this works great. Let's use this one. There's also this one as well. I'm not sure. Which one do we like better? Oops. Sorry about that. Apologies for the noise. My landscapers are outside. This is Inkarnate. First time chatter, welcome. Num num, meaty hills taste delicious. So we can kind of take a look at them. So you got a cave right here and a cave right here. I kind of feel like this one works a little better. Let's put it right on top of it, like there, like this. And of course it's not on top, naughty thing. Let's push it up a layer, make sure it's on top. There we go. And also I want to make sure that it blends properly. So you'll notice that there's kind of different coloring, different style here. So it kind of pops out a little bit. So what's really nice is to go into luminosity like this, and you'll notice that it just keeps whatever the textures behind it. So it blends in so much better. So now we've got holes in our meats and our meat hills here, and we're going to go ahead and put a tower on top. All right, so underneath this tower is kind of a mine. I would kind of expect that from dwarves. We're going tropey, all right? We're going tropey. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our dwarf options. Here, I know we got some cool towers here. Ooh, I like these ones. So there's 2 towers. We can even make it like a tower slash forge maybe. That might be kind of cool. So like maybe put a forge at the top. Like right here somewhere. Let's also put this up a layer so it's above it. So that one's kind of on top of it like that. So we got that one. And then we also want to maybe put a tower on top of that one. So let's take a look at our tower options and just kind of make sure they're lined up. You notice that that one doesn't line up with that very well. So let's check out this one real quick. I think that one works much better. And we might have some fun here. Maybe create an opening. Maybe it rests on top of these 4 pillars like this. Or you could put it down like this if you want. Up to you. A lot of different options. I noticed that there's a built-in shadow there, so that could be kind of conflicting. We can do some things to fix that if you want by throwing on some extra stamps, maybe throwing something to kind of hide it. Whenever there's something kind of like, oof, it doesn't look good, you can always just add things to it to make it different if you want. You can hide things, add things to it, lots of options. So I might want to, maybe I could take something like this and put it on the side right here like that if I wanted to. Or I can put something in the background to hide it. So I could take another hill if I wanted to and make sure that it's in the background. So lots of different options you can choose from and what you want to do to hide things. Like I could put a hill like right there and a hill right there and put them in the background. So another thing you can do, you can always try different things. You can hide things by just putting stamps around, right? Maybe I want to put some over here like this. So it's just part of the background. Maybe there's some rolling hills in the background. So lots of different options that you can kind of choose from that you want to do. Let's go ahead and delete that one, put another one right here like this. So I just kind of cheated a little bit and just put in some rolling hills to kind of hide that shadow. And this one kind of pops up a bit more. I can even boost the brightness a little bit if I wanted to, just to make it look like it's a little higher, a little bit brighter. Maybe bring this one up a bit. And let's maybe boost the saturation to really give that reddish kind of look to it. Let's also boost the saturation on this one. There we go. And place this on top like this. And then if I want, I can put another thing on top. I do think I saw a nice one right here. Let's boost the saturation all the way up to give it that bright red feel to it, to kind of give it the same continuity as the same color scheme. We got some red down here. Let's also put a red peak right on top. So you have this kind of nice tower there, and you can throw on some other maybe dwarven structures to give it that feel that maybe this is a complex, right? There's a tower with maybe some other buildings on the other taller hills, right? So I can throw this one on like this. And let's go through another one. Let's see here. I think I saw one right here. And throw another one on top like that if I want. Just to throw in some extra structures. if I wanted to, let's also throw this one down a little bit that way and push this one a little bit further inward. There we go. Some nice curvature. Let's throw in another one. So I want to mention something about curves. Curves always kind of help with the eye. So what I'm doing is kind of creating a series of landscape that kind of creates a curve to it. So I'll show you real quick. Let's throw in one more. And you'll notice that there is a curvature. So let's go ahead and add in a white shadow, and I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. So there's a curve like this. You'll see that curve. Curves are really, really good to the human eye. We're going to notice curves. It gives it a nice flow, right? So whenever I'm making landscape, I'm also factoring in that there might be some kind of curve that might be involved in the landscape to give it a more natural and interesting feel. Okay, so it's always nice to throw in some curve. You'll notice that nice curve in the landscape right there. The last thing that I might want to consider doing is maybe having some light coming out of that underneath. So if I type in light, now there's no light sources in Fantasy World, that's fine. I'm just going to go to search all styles, and I'm going to look for a red light, and it will pop up here, and I'll show it to you. It should be in Fantasy Battle Maps. So let's take a look. There's an orange light right here. Perfect. And if I want, I can change the hue to give it a little bit more red, or leave it. Let's boost the saturation all the way up. And I can change the hue to be a little bit more of a red if I want. Push it all the way up. And I'm going to place it right in front. And let's even throw in another one and put it in the back because the light source is farther in. So I'll bring the size down and bring that way to the back. And let's increase the size just a little bit more to 15. There you go. So now you kind of have that feel of glow inside that cave because there is glow right here. So I'd kind of expect maybe there's a little bit of lava. Maybe there's some lava underneath in that mine somewhere, right? Give it a little bit of story. And the next thing is to maybe throw in some smoke, right? To give it that feeling that, hey, there's some work going on here. So I can grab the smoke right from here. And of course, it's probably going to be coming out of this cave right here. So I'll throw that down just like that. And it looks like there's maybe some smoke coming out of the cave. There we go. All right. Simple as that. Not much going on there. You can throw in dead trees if you want to kind of break it up. I mean, you would expect dead trees, maybe in a dwarven setting. Either the trees have been cut down, used for building materials. So lots of different options. And of course, you can use that same path tool technique and throw in some glow in the windows because, hey, right, we're sticking with that theme. So if I want, I can go in, use this red color, give it a nice reddish color, and maybe even throw in a yellow blur. Okay, let me apply that real quick to see what it looks like. A little too big. Let's go with about that. Okay, that looks good. And I'll go in real quick and just kind of throw in some red into these windows. So that way it's a little bit more continuity in color and some glow as you would kind of expect. There you go. All right, so now we got some nice red glow in there. And again, you can throw in dead trees, whatever you want, right? So let's go ahead and group this. All right, that looks good. All right, unless people think anything else should be added, I think that looks good. We can probably save and move on to the next one. First come, first serve. So whatever people think is next, let me know. I'll go ahead and let it save. Let me know what's next. Again, first come, first serve. Let me know. What are we doing next? All right, sweet. All right, we'll let it save. And we'll move on to the next one. Where are we at? Well, 1 hour, pretty much an hour in, and we've done so many already. Great, sweet. We're hoping to get a lot more done. I absolutely love making these, and I'm thinking. Let me know in the chat what you think about this. But I think having series using every style, so making POIs with the fantasy regional style, making POIs with the parchment style, making points of interest even with maybe the battle map style just for fun. Whatever it is, right? Lots of different options. Oh, Doomed Village. You mean Undead Village? Because I don't have Doom, but I do have Undead. And I do think of Doom when I think of Undead. So good call. Wait, let's go ahead and... Oh, wait. Yeesh already called Orc, though. Ooh, so it's Orc, and then we'll do Dune Village next, okay? So, all right. I love the idea of orcs. Orcs are awesome. So let's go ahead and look at our orcs, what we have. We've got an orc city right here with kind of a staircase leading up. Looks like they've kind of planted their home on a volcano. Sitting on the hot seat. These guys are living on the edge. Maybe these are some kind of magical orcs that absorb lava. They're lava orcs, all right? You gotta love it. All right, and then we got another one here. I see in the lava theme seems to be quite evident, I think, in theme. So maybe we can continue with lava stuff. I don't know. So we've got a wonder, we've got a castle, a tower, a capital, a town, and a village. Now we've just done a tower, so it doesn't make sense to do another tower. Let's either do a castle, a wonder, or maybe a village. Well, we're gonna do a Doom Village after this. So let's do I'm debating. Let's do a castle. I think a castle would be good. We're gonna stick with that lava theme, okay? Because I love the lava. I love it. Okay, let's go with volcano. Oh my, noisy. Sorry about that. All right, so we got that same volcano. I can use that same volcano. I think that's okay. But I want to make it large enough to where I can really place some things on top of it, because maybe this castle rims. It rims. Oh, orcs are just mushrooms. Maybe we can create a castle that rims around the volcano's edge, the rim. So I think that might be kind of interesting. So we can go and transform and do some, of course, some changes to it. I love doing little changes to it. I can do all kinds of things. Let's also do another volcano. Let's go ahead and put this one below, I think. Oh, I'm at layer 5 on that one. Naughty, naughty. Let's go with this one, bring it back to 0. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one below that, of course. And I'm going to kind of use it to kind of extend it out, or maybe bring some of it out a little bit. Let's go with, let me check out the line work here. I think that looks fine. We've extended it a little bit further down at the base. Not a whole lot, but just enough. Okay, I'll bring it down just a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. Let's just take a look. It's a castle. So we're going to expect some stuff on here. So let's go into our orc options here. Orc, oops, Vork. I don't know what Vorks are, but new species. Vorks. They're coming for you. Watch out. There we go. Ooh, lots of options here. I do love these towers. I would kind of expect that. I'm thinking kind of something a little bit more enforced. So maybe I can put a series of towers together. Let me look at what I did over here already. So I added towers there. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and throw in some towers, of course. Push them up a layer. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of use some of these spaces. And I even want some of these spikes to even maybe look like they're coming out of the lava. So I can put one there for starters. Let's put another one. Let's make it just a teeny bit smaller. It's in the background, so a little bit smaller maybe. And I don't want those spikes floating in space, so I'll throw them down here. And maybe I can even take this one and shrink the width a little bit so I can kind of fit it in there. Fit this one in right here. And let's add in another one right here. So we have kind of this strange tower set up, and then we can kind of figure out what we want to go from there. So let's go ahead and maybe create some stuff that are moving on the sides. So I'll throw in maybe some of these ones, and I'm going to put them just in between. If I can try to make sure that they're going behind. So let's put one first there and put another one here, another one here. And I'm going to push this one to the foreground because I want it to be in front of this one. And you can even have maybe some lava coming out of this one. So I'm kind of creating some towers, and then I can put some buildings in between the towers. Okay, and let's go ahead and add in just a couple more of those, of these orc structures. One where maybe I can fit right here maybe. Let's push it back one. There we go. In the background. Put another one right here. And where else can I put another one? I think I can use this one right here to put something special right there. So let's just use this village one. Kind of circular. And let me make sure if maybe this ring of spikes will work well against the landscape right here. Let's also push it up a layer so it's above. Yeah, I think that looks fine. It kind of rests there fairly well. Okay. Now, whenever you... Oh, hey, Bikini Fairy Beach Village. Oh, I love that. Great one. Welcome, first big dog. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. So now you'll notice that there's a strange kind of line right here that you can kind of see, right there. You'll notice that it's kind of looks weird right there. So what's always nice to do is to go in and just kind of use a mountain or that same kind of stamp that you used before, and you can just layer it and put it on top to kind of hide some of the landscape. And what you want to do, of course, is you're probably going to want to change the width and the height. So I can go in like this and kind of throw that one on top like that. I might have to change the height a little bit, change the width a little bit more. And you can kind of just use a couple of these to kind of hide some of the stuff in the front. Okay, so I can throw another one right there like that. And I've kind of hid a little bit. So you have some extra volcanoes, some extra lava to throw in there. Okay, and of course, you can throw in, like maybe you want to throw in an entrance of some kind. So maybe it's good to maybe pick, let's take a look here. We want to create this illusion of maybe a door or something that leads to an entrance. So we can use, first we can use bridges for ramps. I've always loved to use bridges as ramps. I'll show you how to use them too. Let me take a look here. There we go, bridges right here. Let's use this darker one, I think. And I'm using the front facing one. Okay, so if you look carefully, the line work even makes it look like there's some stairs. If you look closely, it almost looks like stairs at a distance. And I can kind of create a little bit of a ramp system that kind of goes up, leading right up to that. And if you want, you can throw in more ramps leading up to other ones if you want. It's up to you how you want to go about doing it. Let me take a look. I think this is the right one. You can even throw another one right here if you want over there, or you can throw another one right here. Up to you if you want to throw in those ramps. But me personally, I like throwing on a ramp or two because I just think it looks kind of more interesting. And the last thing that you can kind of do is kind of, again, maybe you want to create some spikes or something, so you can copy and paste one of these, change that width to kind of create that spiky feel, and just kind of throw them down, copy, paste, wherever you kind of want. Let's even have one kind of hovering over, kind of over the gate like this, because it looks more interesting. Let's throw in another one right here. And I'm going to change the width a little bit, because just remember that when you do the transforming, you will be kind of really changing, warping the line work. So it might look odd, okay? And I think that's it. The last step, if you wanted to, is you could throw in a light source. So I did throw in like this reddish light, and you can throw this in like right there. And that way you kind of have a little bit more of a glowish feel, because it's lava, right? Lava emanates light source. So throwing in a light source right there on top to give it like that glow from that lava is there is super nice. So I'll go ahead and group this, and that one is done, unless people feel that I should add more to it. Personally, I think this looks pretty good, but you get the general idea. You could throw in more spikes, some more buildings, whatever it is you want. It's up to you on what you want to do, okay? Let's go ahead and zoom out, just see how it looks. I think it looks just fine. Let's go ahead and save, of course. Only 62 changes, but it's always nice to save. Awesome. So I think after Orc, someone mentioned a doomed village, and I think that's a great idea. So let's go ahead and save, and then we'll go ahead and do a village for the undead or doomed, whichever you want to call your faction, the Doom or Doom, whatever you want to call them, the undead, the doom, the plague, The stinky ones, I don't care, whatever. I mean, the dead can't smell good, and I know they don't use cologne, so the stinky ones, whatever you like. The eater of brains, whatever faction you want to call it, right? So here we are, village, we're at that first row, it's right here, and I'm looking at the other ones that I created. I do like this theme right here, this looks cool. I almost kind of feel like I should have made the tower green, but hey, right? Spectra. And then you kind of have this one here, or Spectre, sorry. And then we have this one, and we have this undead monument. So let's go with just a very, very simple village. So all I'm going to do is just use the same kind of hills, and I'm going with the same theme, okay? Let's say the village has a central POI. And I think, I think we're going to make the village have a pit. I think that would be a good idea. Maybe a pit to the underworld. That's where they come out of, right? So we can take a look at pits. I think there might be a pit in here. Pits. What's going on? Let me take a look. I don't... Oh, there we go. Oh, oopsie, but I only want this particular style. So there's a pit right there. Perfect. And it's not going to make it brown. Let's actually stick with this grayish theme, right? So if you just drop the saturation... It has that feel to it. I can bring the brightness down a little bit to give it that darker feel to it, like I'm trying to keep in continuity with this. And I can even bring the saturation up a little bit just to keep it, throw a little bit of brown into it so it kind of looks a little bit more like this. Okay, let's actually bring the brightness back up. There we go. So the central piece is going to be a pit. Okay, now I did have a pit in this one for the tower, but it doesn't have to be so exaggerated, right? With that other one, I put a lot of exaggeration on the pit. For this one, even though it's the central piece, and maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be the focal point. I can throw some things on the side to push your eye away from it. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to go about it. So let's throw this down, and I'm gonna maybe put a little bit of emphasis on the pit. I don't know. I'm totally contradicting myself now. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw in some spikes. Let's actually decorate a little bit more of the pit. Give it a little bit more feel to it, shall we? All right, so I'll just take a couple of these. We're gonna again transform, change the height. There you go. And I'm gonna desaturate these just a little bit so that they kind of match in better. And what I like to do is just look at some of the ridges where there's spikes already and just throw them on that same position to kind of give them a little bit more feel to it. So let me bring this down. There we go. Bring that up. Let's bring the brightness up. There we go. We're going to bring the saturation down a little bit more. A little bit more brightness. Let's see here. I just wanted to make sure it's matching a little bit. There we go. So I put a spike there, copy paste, put another one over here somewhere, and I'm going to have it overlap so it looks like it's going, covering a little bit of the pit in the front, as you can see. Copy paste, bring the sizes down, right? We're always bringing the size down, give it a little bit more feel to it. And of course, wherever you have a large spike, it's always nice to put maybe a smaller spike next to it, right? Kind of give it a teeth-like feel to it, right? This pit's got some teeth, some bite. Let's bring the size up a little bit more. Bring it to 15, get it in between. There we go, put that one there. Okay, there we go. So I think that's enough. We don't have to add too much. I think that looks just fine. So let's just zoom out, take a look. Remember, it's just a village. And I think all we have to do now is just ring the village with some buildings. I think that's all we have to do. Let's see what buildings I used. I used these ones. Okay, let's just use these ones. Copy and paste. And we don't have to put a whole lot in here, right? Just a couple. You can have it ringing along the ridge, or you can just put them right along the edge. And don't forget to flip, rotate them, put a couple over here. Copy, paste. Don't forget to scale some down so you got some variety and sizes. Let's maybe put two side by side like this. Maybe put one in the background behind it. So maybe one right here behind this spike. Put a larger one, maybe, oh, I don't know. Put it like this, maybe, right there. And then let's take a look. If we can put in a couple smaller structures, maybe throw in some undead trees. And let's just completely make them white. All right, so we'll throw in some completely dead, like ivory, like trees. You can even have them, if you want, you can even have them like growing on the edge, the rim if you wanted to. That's up to you. That's whatever you want. There's a lot of different options. Don't forget to overlap them. Put one and put a couple trees in front of the buildings. Put a couple trees behind stuff, behind buildings. Okay, so lots of different things you're probably going to want to do. All right, rotate them if you want to give them a little bit more crazy feel to it, right? Like instead of just being straight up, maybe have a couple of them rotated and these just really weird, kind of odd directions to kind of give it a little bit more of an eerie, unnatural, undead-y kind of feel. We're making up words now. Just kind of rotate them, you know, nothing crazy, right? So just throw some white. And I think white also looks good with purple and gray. So it kind of gives it a nice kind of feel to it. So we don't have to add in too many, just enough, because remember, it's a village, right? So I'm just going to group them together. And then that's it. It's as simple as a village gets. And you can bring the size up or down. It's a village. Again, small, not much, right? Okay, let's go ahead and save. And I'll refresh the page probably. Where are we at? We're at, oh, we still have lots of time. We've made so many. That'd be cool if we get them all done. I'm loving it. So what's next? Oh, a Bikini Fairy Beach Village. As much as I love that idea, I don't have a fairy faction in here. All right, don't throw me. Don't think I got that one. All right, let's take a look. We're going to save, and we're going to take a look at the other ones. Let me know what just from the other factions. Making a stream request? Oh, I love it. More stream requests. I really just want to do points of interest with every style, including battle maps. I think a whole series. And after this one, you know, even including using the different stamps from the same style, the flat front-facing stamps as well. So I think that'd be kind of fun to do all that stuff. Let's see here. Let's take a look. I'm going to zoom out for Bikini Fairy Beach Villages. Well, I'm not sure where I would put that at. You know, we don't have a lot of human stuff. No, we do. What's the most lacking? Hey, what's next, folks? Fill me in. What's next? What's next? It's human, dwarf, orc, elf, and undead. We just did undead. So what y'all thinking? First come, first serve. I would love to make a fairy bikini beach. I don't even know where I would start with that, but I do love that idea. First come, first serve. What is it going to be, folks? Human beach village with a fairy hotel, I assume. All right, human beach village. We've got a village already, so maybe a human town, I think, would look kind of cool. Yeah, I like that idea of a human town. Let's see some villages. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Town. All right. Yeah, let's do it. That sounds fine to me. I won't keep you waiting for too long. All right, so I think a town with a lake. We haven't done any rivers or lakes or anything like that. So I think that's a really good idea. So what I'll do is I'll make a lake with the path tool. Now remember, you don't have to make the whole lake on your world map, okay? You only have to make the representation of the lake, okay? Because in real life, you probably won't see a lot of lakes at a super zoomed out scale, including rivers. You won't see them at that super zoomed out scale. So when you're making a POI with a lake and there's nothing else, I mean, there's just a lake with a POI that's specifically a POI, don't worry about scale. Okay, the only scale you have to worry about is to make sure that POIs themselves are at the same scale. The POI scale can be different from the landscape scale. Okay, it's a matter of preference what scale you want to work with. Remember, maps are representation, so you don't have to make the POIs can be of a different scale from the actual landscape on your map. Or you can put them to scale. If you are going to have it to scale, you probably won't even see a POI. you'll probably just see a little dot that represents that location. So it's up to you. It's really artistic preference whether you want to have a POI that's got details on your map or if you want just a dot. Okay, so when you're thinking about scale, keep all that stuff in mind, all right? So we're gonna make a human town. I'm gonna use the path tool to create a lake. And I'm just gonna select this path and make changes to it. So I'm gonna go with blue, and then I'm gonna make it nice and big like this. I'm even gonna drop the opacity down so that I have some, catch some of the texture underneath. And I'm also gonna turn off blur. I don't need any shadow of any kind, okay? First, I'm gonna create the lake. Oh, a dragon cathedral. I love that too. Maybe that could be, well, wait a minute. I have a dragon. I kind of have a dragon wonder already. It's kind of a dragon head. It's as funky and dumb as it looks. Not one of my favorites. Why did I show you that? Hide that. Hide that off to the side. A source of embarrassment and shame. All right, first let's go ahead and make the lake. Now what's really beautiful about the path tool is that you only have to make the basic shape even at a small scale. Okay, you don't have to make the whole lake, right? All I have to do now is just zoom, just scale it up, right? So now I have a larger shape, okay? When it comes to like lake shapes though, my favorite shapes are kind of the kind of a kidney bean kind of feel to it, like this. I like this kind of a shape to it, but you can go with any shape you want, and it depends on the perspective that your POIs are with. So let's go with this kind of a shape like this. And what I'm trying to do is just trying to give it a lot of character to it by creating all these different kind of shapes to it. Don't forget that curve. Don't forget that curve suggestion that I mentioned. Sometimes your lakes might have that nice curve to it. A dragon castle. I think we might do that for... I think that might work for dwarves. We might be able to make a dragon castle. I like that idea. Just remember that your suggestions should remain within... If you're going to mention like a dragon castle, mention what kind of race you want it to be. Human, orc, dwarf. Because we're sticking within a certain framework. You'll notice the various factions right here, human, and then the different types of POIs, towns, villages. So just factor that in when you make your suggestion. I like the idea of a dragon cathedral. Not sure what race to make it as, but if you think of one, we'll use it. Okay, so we have a lake right here. And let's say that we want to throw in maybe some landscape, of course. I put the body of water in first, and then I can go ahead and throw in the landscape. So it's near water. So when I think of water, I think of green. Okay, whenever I'm near a water source, I think of a vibrant, very verdant, green grass, shrubbery, that kind of stuff, because you're near a water source, right? So I expect a lot of green. So I'm going to throw in some hills, and I'll put them on one side. Let's put some larger ones in there first, and then I can throw in some smaller ones around the sides. So put a couple here, one here, maybe one off to the side here. We can put a large one right over here, and then I can put a smaller one maybe over, let's take a look. I don't think it needs to be on all on. We can maybe put one other one, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want some overlap. I want some things to overlap. So maybe I can put like a little tower right here that's going to overlap the lake. Tree, maybe there's a forest right there. Lots of different options, right? So now that I've added that landscape, I want to factor in the main thing. So someone had mentioned an inn. So maybe this town is most known for its inn. So let's take a look at the human buildings with the isometric. And I think this one, right, this tall one right here, 2 stories. I think 2 stories is good because I like inn and tavern combo. So the bottom floor can be the tavern and the top floor can be the rooms. So it can be this human building 3, or even this kind of human building right here. It also has 2 floors. So it's up to you which one you want to choose. I already feel like we already have blue water. So I kind of feel like we're going to throw in some extra color in. Let's do a different color. And I'm going to boost this size up and put this right on top of the hill. Okay, because this is going to be that inn. All right, so there's the inn on top of the hill. That's the first one. Next, I want to go in and maybe throw in some smaller structures, as you would expect. So I'll just scroll through them and take a look at them. Let's put one on top here. Oop, you know, I kind of like this one better. It's kind of has a little bit of character to it. It's got a second floor. So let's put that on top of a hill. And then let's put some smaller ones. Let's also decrease the size a little bit and throw some of these on top of here. Let's put a smaller one. Let's take a look. One here. And of course, I might want to throw some at the base of this main hill. Okay, and so I have a town, and then I might want to maybe factor in throwing in like a little path or something so I can go in like this. And of course, I'll change everything. Let's change it to maybe white. Let's maybe boost the size. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, let's bring it down a layer to the right layer as well. I think that looks right. And then I also want to probably change that blend mode. Maybe I want to catch some of that texture underneath. There we go. Okay. I could even make it gray if I wanted to. Maybe a darker gray, maybe a black might do well. Let's go with that. That looks fine. Okay. Now I can go in and take this path like this and just say this is like the main route. Like that. Okay. And of course, you can... Hey, dragons, dreams, and squirrels. Welcome. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And then I can go in and kind of just take some of these buildings and make sure you overlap the road. Okay, these are the smaller ones, so I think these might work pretty good as kind of just the rando small buildings. So I'll make sure to throw some here, some there. Let's throw some in the background as well, behind. Of course, it's all about doing your layering. So you have this kind of town here, and if you want, you can maybe throw like a watchtower along the surround. So I'll go in and take a look at my human buildings, see if I can find a human tower that I can work with. I know I've got some here. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. There's some towers. Let's go with this one. So let's just put a tower right on top right here, and that's just the tower that is guarding the surround. And the surround, when I say the surround, what I mean by that is just the surrounding area. Okay, if someone says, you know, fortify the surround or occupy the surround, it just means the surrounding area. Okay. All right. So yeah, so the surround would be, you know, let's just say everything kind of surrounding the lake here, right? So you just have this guard tower, and that way it can ring a bell or flash a light if maybe this town is under attack. So lots of different options there. Okay. And of course, whenever I think of water, again, I mentioned green, right? So let's throw in some trees. Okay, let's throw in some trees. Let's throw in these bushy ones. Let's do this. Let's increase the size, and we're just going to throw in a couple. Remember, it's a POI. You don't have to add in a lot, but I'm going to throw in a couple to ring around the lake so that way it's not like you just have this flat kind of line. All right, so I'm going to throw in a couple of these. We're going to ring it around the lake because I kind of like the idea of ringing our lake. And of course, I like to throw them at the edge of the hills so I can kind of get rid of some of that line work. See the line work? When I put that tree there, it removes that line work. And of course, go in and bring them down a couple more sizes so you have some smaller trees, because there's going to be a lot of different variety in sizes. And I like the idea, by the way, of a fort tower, and I'll make another lake one with that. So because the central focus on this one is the inn. And then we'll make another lake town or village or city or whatever with a fortress. I think a castle would be kind of cool. A lake castle, an island with a castle lake. I think that would be super cool. So we'll probably do that. Okay. Excuse me while I sneeze. Bless me. Sorry about that. Oh my. My goodness. Sorry about that. It's dusty in here. Okay. let's go ahead and scale this down a little bit. And now you kind of have this nice town, lake town. And I think that works out rather well. And you can also change in whatever you want. If you wanted this to feel more water-like, I just use the path tool because I can scale it and change it. But on your world map, you might use the subtract mode of the mask tool to make your lake. So it's really up to you. I just, again, use the path tool for functional sake because I'm not going to use the mask tool, all right? But so now you have this nice kind of little town along this lake, along the edge or on the surround of the lake with some hills and inn, nice little place. And you can extend that road to go all the way around the lake, off wherever you want. Okay, so you have the nice lake there. Let's go ahead and save it at 104 changes. And I think there is another castle right here, and we can make an undead castle, and it can be maybe in like an acid lake or something, like a green bubbling acid lake. I think that'd be kind of cool. You guys cool with a bubbling acid castle that sits on this island, on this bubbling acid lake? I think that'd be super cool. What are the different factions? Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry. There is the first row is human. The second row is going to be dwarf, orc, elf, and undead. And then whichever one you want is fine. And then also it's from villages, towns, cities, capitals, temples, towers, castles, and a wonder. Age of Wonders. Yeah, let's do a bubbling acid castle. I think that'd be super cool. Acid castle, acid castle. Whoa, why are there butterflies everywhere? Whoa, it feels weird when I touch this castle, man. That acid lake is great, trippy, dude. All right, let's do it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this path right here because I kind of like this, and all I have to do is just change the color when I add it down. So we'll create this acid lake, man, where there's some really trippy stuff going down that I don't even understand. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to make an acid lake, man. So I'll go ahead and just kind of create this shape that I want. We'll make it just weird shape. Oops, you know, that's not working for me. It's super laggy. I forgot to save. I'm going to refresh too. So let's save, refresh. Acid castle. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we're going to save. We're going to make an acid lake. We're going to put a castle in the center of it. Maybe we can make some like tendrils coming out of it, some tentacles or something. I mean, who knows, right? We can throw in all kinds of fun stuff. You know, this lake's got a story. It's not a happy place. It's not a honeymoon spot. I don't recommend it. You know, you're definitely not going to kick your shoes up and take a swim for this place because no. Not good. Walk in alive, and then don't come out at all. Yikes. Not a good idea. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. Here we go. Sweet. Oh, for those, there is one announcement. One thing I did want to mention. It is the #1 Undead Vacation destination. Duh. I do want to mention that we did pin up a new, we do have for those of you who want a full editor breakdown, we went ahead and included a full editor demo stream to the channel's trailer. So if you're new to the tool, you're very unfamiliar, this seems all rather quick for you, and it's all happening rather quickly, I definitely recommend that you scooch a dooch right over to our YouTube channel and just check out that trailer video. It's 2.5 hours long, but it is a full editor demo. And of course there are chapters. So if you just want to focus on the mask tool, you don't have to go search through the whole video. Go look for that title called the mask tool, the brush tool, whatever. So I know that for some people these streams are long and they're kind of looking for nuggets and kind of just basic understanding of how the tool works. Go to the YouTube trailer video, and that's going to give you the full breakdown of the editor and how to use each tool with examples, everything. So go check that video out if you're struggling to understand the basics of the tool, because I know some of you are going to be like, well, scratching your head like, well, how the fudge muffins did you do that? Okay, So go check that out whenever you have a free time. And I'll also be sure to put that in a card. So go check out that full editor video. It's been provided in the chat. Thank you so much, Harold. Okay, so we're making a bubbly, acidy, goody num-numness that we all love so much. So I'm going to go ahead and just put down a path right away. I love putting a path down first, and I fiddle with it so that I can kind of see what I'm working with. So we'll go with green. Let's go with a little bit darker green. No, I actually like the lighter green. That looks cool. Maybe the glows. There's some green glow at the lake, so let's throw down some glow there. I think that works fine. I think that looks good. Let's go through our blend modes and see if I can maybe pick up some of the texture underneath. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of an interesting kind of color. I kind of like that. That's kind of freaky. Let's do that. All right, so now I'm going to go in and just make the lake. I'm not going to go anything crazy with any too crazy of shapes, or maybe I should. Ooh, who knows? We'll take a look. We'll start with the basic, this first, and maybe we can do some waviness. There we go. Some waviness. There we go. I think that shape looks good. Let me make sure I fill it all in. There we go. And now I can go ahead and boost the size. Let's go with that. Kind of looks like a slug's butt. Slug butt. It's slug butt. Yay! So this kind of sluggish feel to it. In fact, I think I might even make the path a darker color. Ooh, see, I did miss some spots. Naughty me. Better fix that. Never mind. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Let's make it just a teeny bit bigger. There we go. I really want to just give it some size there. Next step, I want to create that island, right? And I might want to stick with maybe that dark color again, or I can change the blend mode. We'll see first. Let's just test things out. When it comes to working with paths and stuff like that, you do have to do a little bit of trial and error. Okay, so this is at layer 0. This one is at layer 1. This should be on top. So that's the part of the island. Now, I might want to consider maybe doing some changes. So let's transform it. Let's increase the height a bit and maybe a little bit of the width, bring it down. Now, the hard part is trying to creating the illusion that it's underwater. So let's put one underneath like this. Let's boost that size like this. There we go. I think that worked out okay. And so now it kind of looks like some of it's underground. Hey, first time chat. I'm going to see the full demo because I don't remember anything, and I need to create a full Elvish city inside a snowy mountain. Wow, that sounds like a serious task, and it sounds like a heck of a lot of fun, and I know for a fact that you can do it. And I look forward to seeing it. Hopefully you're on our Discord, and I can go ahead and check out the finished piece because I love seeing our users work. And there's so many good maps out there. It's incredible. Our users are awesome. I absolutely love it. Okay, so now we've went ahead and kind of created the illusion of one underneath. So all I did was stack, okay? So one mountain, one hill on top. That's this one right here. This hill's on top of the path. This one is below the path and below the hill. And what I'm doing is lining up the line work so it looks like this is kind of that water line where the gray meets that dark green, right? So it kind of creates that illusion, and I like that. Okay, so now we've got that acid part. We're going to put it maybe, I think maybe somewhat center of the lake. Works kind of good. So we'll go ahead and move this over here, and then we're going to put a castle on top. So let's take a look. Ooh, let's turn off my custom assets. And let me take a look at where we're at here. Did I say castle? I did, and I put it in the tower section. Naughty, naughty, not paying attention. There we go. Put it in the tower section. What was I thinking? What's going on here? Naughty! Okay. It is a undead dragon's pimple, and it must be popped. Grab me that short sword. I'm not cleaning that up. Yuck. Okay, so now I can go in and select these. I'm going to go ahead and stretch them out a little bit more. I want a little bit more space. Let's change my width just a little bit. There we go. All right. And now I can go ahead and let's overlap so it looks like it's popping out a little bit. There we go. This pimple is about to pop, baby. Pop, pop, pop. Hand me the short sword, please. We'll make quick work of this undead pustule. All right, let's see here. Undead Castle. Hey, Brian knows. I love it. Let's see here. Oh, you know, I kind of like this creepy looking human castle right here. This is kind of cool. I dig that. Let's make sure it's on the right layer. Let's bring it up. There we go. Okay, I'm cool with that. I don't really care for the color. Let me see. Can I get some color to it? Let's see if I can add a green to it or a purple. Oh, you know, I kind of like that green. That looks nice. Yeah, there we go. Give me more damn greens. There we go. That's cool. All right, I like that so far. So we got this kind of greenish castle. Let's even make it a little bit bigger. When this pustule pops, that castle is flying high. All right, so we got that castle there. You know, it's always nice to like kind of give things a little bit more oomph to it. So I might go ahead and change the saturation and boost the hue on this one. Stick within that kind of greenish theme. And maybe I can place these like on the corner like this, just to kind of give it a little bit more extra oomph to it. There we go. Yeah, I like that. There we go. If you want, you can throw another one on top, like this up here, like this if you want, or you can leave it as is. Maybe you want something that rests on top of that tower. You've got evil eyes. You've got whirlpools that can be on top like that. We can throw the whirlpool in the water if we wanted to. I mean, the options are really quite limitless. You know, the options that you have, you can do a lot of different things. So be creative, test yourself a little bit. Maybe I can go ahead and take this and maybe put it at the point where I can change the height. There we go, like this. And maybe there's a little bit of swirling action going on here. Who knows? Some swirlies. Let's bring this up a little bit more so the swirl stays in the water. There we go. So you've got some swirling action going around the pimple acid pimple castle. And then maybe we want to put something on top. So very rarely do I mention like cross mixing styles, but it's all right to use a piece if it's missing. So if I type in orb and I search all styles, there should be an orb, and I think that would look kind of cool. Like maybe this castle has an energy source of some kind, and so I like to take this orb right here, make it green, pick the green one, and yes, again, it's not the same style, so the line work will be different, but that's okay. Let's just put it right on top like that. Let's also change the object shadow to green. We'll bring it down a little bit, and I'm going to boost that saturation and get that right color green that I'm looking for. There we go. That looks nice. And you know what? Let's have it kind of suspended over the tower, and let's throw in some green lightning, some green energy sources, kind of bzzz, keeping the thing floating from those little whatever those towery pieces at the top. So we'll test that out. 1 second. Let's get the size down right. There we go. Okay. All right. And we'll bring it down a little bit more. So let's do this. There we go. So you got some electricity kind of coming out of this one. There you go. Another one out of this one. Yeah. There you go. I like it. And you know what? I feel like this orb needs a little something more. So let's go with spell real quick. And let's go with this red one right here. I like this one. Normal. And then I'm going to change that, of course. To change that, we'll boost the saturation. Change the hue to that green that we're looking for. Where are you, you lovely green? Oh, there we go. That'll work just fine. And let's bring the opacity down. There we go. And then we can go ahead and just put that like this to kind of give it a little bit extra oomph. There we go. It's boss fight time. Take him down. All right. Well, I think, yeah, that looks cool to me. I think the only thing we could probably do next is to probably throw down some I don't know, some spiky goodness, you know, around the tower or around it. So I kind of like that idea. So let me take a look. Let's just go ahead and steal these spikes right here, copy paste. Okay, bring it back over here. And let's put a little bit of landscape. Oh, make sure it's above, by the way. Let's put a little bit of landscape. Some stuff. Here, again, throw in copy paste. Throw in a couple. One there, copy paste. Let's put in some smaller ones. I'm going to do some Funkadilio stuff. Just have them kind of facing in every other direction. Because remember, I'm just trying to break up that there's just no transition between that lake and the ground. So doing this kind of gives it some character, and you can throw in like maybe a massive one that kind of like overlaps if you want. So you have kind of a big one. Copy paste it, put another one here, and we'll just keep adding a couple along that ledge. And there's a bunch of things that you could do as well if you wanted to. You could maybe throw in some bubbles. So if you wanted to create like bubble-like stuff, we could go ahead and take that same green stamp like this. I'm going to select it. I'm going to turn off that glow. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to transform and change the height like this. Maybe the width just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in and change the blend mode. Okay. So I can go through the various blend modes to find the kind of the one that I'm looking for. So whatever kind of looks good. There's hard. I kind of think that soft light looks pretty good. And I can go and copy and paste it and put a couple of them like this. So you kind of have this kind of bubbly like feel to it. And make sure to put some behind the spikes as well. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a place where I want to put on my bikini, my bathing suit, my onesie, my my Speedo, whatever your pref is. Okay, let's throw in another one. So now you kind of have this kind of like bubbly kind of feel to it. There you go. And then, of course, you'll paint in that proper color. So you got to have this undead kind of castle. Perfect. Oh, let's make sure that I deselect this stuff. There we go. All that selected group. Perfect. There we go. All right. Yeah, I like the little bubbles. Steer clear of this place. And of course, I just want to mention that you could do a lot of cool tricks as well. So let's say that you wanted to have a spike look like it was protruding out of the lake. Smallest layer, bring it down, and now you have a spike underneath. Now, I do recommend that you probably drop the opacity down a little bit to give it more glow. And I should do the same thing with this hill underneath. Where's that hill underneath? There it is right there, that one. I should also drop the opacity down. There we go, much better. So you can go in now and copy and paste and go ahead and create the illusion of spikes also protruding out like that if you want. Because you have underneath and one on top. No, this is, look, this is a very, very happy place. How dare you? How dare you? This place is very happy. This is the ultimate vacationing spot. Don't you know? I'm having my anniversary here. Don't question it, okay? All right, there we go. Much better. I think it looks cooler if we put a little bit of spikes in there as well, all right? There we go. Now we're talking. 112 change. Let's save it. Okay. Yeah, I think I like it. We're talking here. Dwarf Gold Bank City. Oh, I like that. It's a bank. Yeah, you can make it gold. Oh, I like that idea. I'm digging. I'm digging. Where are we at for time here? 38. I think we have enough time to make one more. Okay? We've made so many. I mean, we're just hauling balls here. We're moving. It's a tourist attraction, yes. If you would please keep your hands and arms, all your limbs in the boat while we traverse the acid lake. If you'll look to your left, you'll find a previous tourist floating next to the bubble over there. Just be careful, okay? Just be careful. All right, so we've done a lot. My goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah, we've done a lot. Let's see here. 1. We've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, we've done 8. Yeah, we've done quite a bit. This is awesome. We've done so many. So let's just do one more, okay? Someone mentioned like a bank for a dwarf, so I don't see why not. Now, we already have a city, so maybe we could make it a dwarf capital. I dig that. I really dig that. Let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna do a dwarf capital. I'm gonna grab this particular building right here. Take a look at it. A dwarf capital? Yes. I don't think we have one right now. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at our options here. It's, we're going to make it, it's going to be a dwarf bank and casino. Because dwarves, I mean, come on. They like to go mining. So, come on. They got all that gold. I mean, I think they're kind of gamblers. Why not? It's casino time, folks. All right, let's do this. All right. Now, I want to look at those other dwarf stamps that I saw with those mountains. So I think this one looks good right here. Did I already use that one here? No, I didn't. All right, cool. So Dwarf Vegas. It's Dagus. Welcome to Dagus. All right. Who doesn't like Dagus? You get to hang out with a lot of really cool bearded axe welding folk. All right, and they're very friendly. Don't be knocking the beards. Being a beardo is cool, all right? Total beardo. All right. All right, so I think this is a nice kind of entrance right here. I'm not kind of confused on the line work there, but I'll just pretend like I didn't see that. None of you saw that. Shh, close your eyes. Close your eyes. All right, let's go up here, and I'm going to fix that kind of issue that I saw there real quick with another mountain, I think. This one right here, I think is it. Yeah, there we go. And I'll put that probably, one second when I put that together. Right there, I think should look good. There we go. Okay. Much better. There we go. It's Dagus. Okay, there we go. All right, so now if we're going to do this whole Vegas thing, there's a couple things that we need. We need like a dwarf space needle with a roller coaster ride on it, because, hey, need for speed, right? And then we definitely want to put like a golden like casino in there somewhere. I think that would be cool. Let me take a look here. Let me see. I know that we have some... Oh, hey, you know what? This looks cool. Oh, hey, you know what? This looks cool. I kind of dig this. Yeah, I kind of dig this. There we go. Not much work. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this. This looks kind of fun. Okay, let's go with this one. There we go. I'm going to put it on top, of course. Top of all this stuff. There we go. Remember, you always want to make sure that the base, you don't want your stamp floating in space. I mean, unless you like that. I mean, you can go Carl Sagan on it. I don't care. Go for it. Have fun. Knock yourself out. Do it. Do it now. All right, let's take a look here. I'm going to boost up the saturation to really kind of give it that goldy like feel to it. And I might even consider just doing the same with all of it, just to boost that saturation. There we go. Now we're talking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think that looks good. Oops. Let me rotate this a little bit more. I think that looks better. There we go. Okay. Look, we're doing this Dagus style. All right. All right, so you got like this nice kind of like casino style setup going on here. I don't care for this building right here. It just looks like it's floating on top of this thing. So what I think I'm going to do is I don't really care much for these other structures. So I'm going to place this on top to kind of hide, if I can, to try to hide that, because it's just annoying and getting in my way. But I do like that main piece. I do like that, shoot, what was I going to say here? I do like that main entrance right there. That's got me going. It's got me good. I like it. I want to keep that. That's tripping me. I'm cool. All right, so I'm just going to try to hide these other ones, because it's just like, you're just in my way. You're just in the way. You're so annoying. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. I can use this one. Let's use this one. There we go. I'm just trying to hide this stuff because it's in my way. There we go. Boost that up. just going to keep adding more to it to kind of hide as much as I can of that, because I just don't like it there. It's just frustrating. It's annoying me. I think that one can stay, but this one, that one's got to go. So I'll have to probably transform this, really get the width way down. There we go. Okay. Yep, I think that looks a little better. There we go. I've kind of hidden that piece. There we go, much better. And then the entrance is there, and then I can throw this on the very, very top of it. There we go. Now we're talking. Aha! Yes, now we're talking. I was getting nervous for a second there. I'm like, this is not going to work. Heavens to Betsy, I don't understand what's happening here. There we go. So you got this nice kind of like entrance, kind of leading up. And there's another entrance right here, it looks like, kind of leading up into the casino where, hey, you know, you can do the diamond slots, play some craps, you know, whatever it is you like. Maybe there's a special form of like chicken races where they put chickens in harnesses and stuff, and they have a little mouse on top, and you know, they're doing little races, you know, something like that. I mean, I try to throw a chicken into every stream. It's just the way it works. But chicken racing, yeah, that's cool. It's a thing, man. It is now, right? It is now. All right, we're almost done. I'll change the width here. Let's go ahead and copy paste. Put another one over here. I think should look good. Let's put it in the back. Actually, put it behind. Right there looks good, I think. Yeah, there we go. Maybe I can hide some of the shadow that's there. Let's copy paste one more. Maybe put that in the back. Right about there. That looks good. Okay. Right. So you kind of have this golden casino where there's the chicken running and the craps and all the other fun stuff that gambling is entailed. I don't know. We could even throw in, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else you could throw in for a elven capital that kind of looks, doesn't look like a casino. Maybe I should throw in the word casino, you know, just so you know. Casino. Oopsie. Eno. Anybody want to go to the Eno? I love the Eno. Eno is good. There we go. We'll throw in that. Turn off the curvature. There we go. Okay. And I think I'll put one there. And I got an idea here. Let's do this. We're going to do the path tool. One moment. One moment, please. Actually, you know what? This needs to be like, kind of like, I don't know, flashy or something. Kind of feel like it should be like flashy. Casino. There we go. We'll put an outline around it so you can actually see it. There we go. I dig that. There we go. Maybe make the outline a little bit thicker. There we go. Casino. And then I'll just throw in some black lines, I think, to kind of create the, I don't know, the wiring that kind of holds it together. Let's go with segments. Let's see what that looks like first. Oop, that's a little too big, I think. Let's try that. Ooh, a little too big still. A little bit more. There we go. Okay. Oh, and you know what? I think that's a little too small, so let's boost that size up. Oh, a little bit more. There we go. Okay, copy. Let's select that, put one right there. And now let's add another path right there, I think. There we go. Now we're talking. All right. Casino, there we go. Oh, you know I dig. You guys know I dig, right? All right, we're almost done. Let's go ahead and just kind of make a little swirly here. Little swirly there. There we go. And let's just go and throw in some fun stuff here. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to copy paste that one. Look, the dwarves, they know how to spend their off time, okay? No one doubts it. Drinking, gambling, this is the life for me. There you go, casino, everybody. Yeah. Thanks for bearing with me on this journey. I'll go ahead and save this. And you know, I think that's it. It is about 10 minutes till the lunchtime. And I had a great time doing these. So I think, of course, we'll continue these on next month. And of course, I'm thinking of incorporating, you know, POIs from all the different styles, because that would be fun as fudge. Let me tell you. Just ignore the casino sign if you don't want it to be a casino, okay? But hey, I can't take it seriously for too long. You know, you'll go crazy, you know? All right. Awesome. Sweet. We'll take a step back and kind of just review what we did. And I'll go ahead and give you what's coming up next in this week. Only going to be 2 streams this week. And I think moving forward, I'm only going to be streaming on Monday and Wednesdays. I'm going to skip the Thursday bit because I would like to spend more time working on time lapses. So the more streams I do, the less time lapses. And a lot of people are really begging for more time lapses. So I'll stick with a Monday, Wednesday schedule probably starting next month and just continue to do, and then I'll just do on Thursdays probably some time lapses or stuff because I know some people would like to see some shorter content because I know that these streams are time consuming, middle of your day, you're taking care of kids, you're working, whatever it might be, right? You're busy, right? So it's nice to have some shorter videos to occupy your time. So I go ahead and group that. Let's take a step out. We just finished a Dwarf Casino. Spicy place, let me tell you. I've been there a couple times. The food is delicious, I'm going to tell you. All right, so we did a human town, lakeside town, with a nice, large, probably way out of scale inn here for your adventurers to stay. It's always nice to have, like, where's the starting town? Where's the starting village, right? It's always nice to have one of those. So have a town that's got an inn so your players can sleep. They probably don't want to sleep in the freezing cold. They would prefer a nice soft bed underneath their tushes like the rest of us, right? All right, and we did that casino here. It turned out really well. I thought that was really fun. We also put in a dwarven tower here. So we kind of created this kind of funky looking tower with a lot of red glowing fire kind of set up. Maybe this is like a forging tower. You want to throw in some lore, just say it's one of the tower forges of the dwarf kingdom. You know, whatever you want to come up with, right? We also let's keep going on here. We also made a nice kind of a orc city that ringed around a volcano, and maybe they worship a goddess of lava or a god of destruction and lava. Maybe they themselves are made of lava. They're lava orcs because you can't just have regular orcs. You gotta have the lava orcs, all right? And let's keep going here. We also took the time to kind of make I believe it was a city. Let me check to make sure. An elven city. And of course, it was a high elf city. So we kind of made it all ivory. We added some blue lights and we added some blue trees to kind of give it a very, like, hey, this is Elder, right? This is the high elves, all right? We also took the time to make a very simple undead village, nothing special, just kind of a pit with some simple structures ringing around it. We also made a town with a little bit more detail to it, more hills, more spikes, and some funky looking towers made from these dwarven pieces, so that kind of gave it some character. And then we also, last but not least, we also made our, which is my favorite piece, by the way, is the Undead Castle, with the crazy green orb light source and the spikes coming out of the lava with the bubbles. All right, yeah, awesome. So now let's just go ahead and talk about what's going to happen this week for the schedule. It looks like on Wednesday, the 15th, that's going to be 10 a.m. PST, okay? We're going to be doing how to create good versus evil battle maps with the watercolor battle map style. So, hey, I'm kind of excited to kind of make this evil and versus good, you know, the tropey black hat, white hat kind of feel to it. And we're going to be doing that. So I'm super excited about that. And of course, don't worry, next month we'll be continue on making more of these crazy POIs because they have been fun. We have quite a few left. My goodness. So I'm thinking there's at least several more episodes that I can milk out of this, okay? So I'm excited for that. Now, does anyone have any questions before I go ahead and take my lunch? Please ask any questions that you have. Don't forget to join our Discord server because our Discord server is amazing. The people there are awesome. So go check that out. Feel free to check out my profile where I have tons of maps that you can clone and edit, reverse engineer. Most of my stuff is clonable. So go check that out. And of course, if you missed this, you can always go back and replay it. And of course, I will add this to YouTube today, so you can. There's some serious rewatch value there. So I'll go ahead and add that to YouTube after the stream. All right, not seeing any questions, not so far. I've had a great time. Thank you, everybody. Loved all the laughs. It's good to see everybody. Happy Monday. If any of you are at work, I hope your shifts end swiftly so that you can enjoy this day. All right. No questions, so I'm going to take off. Thank you, everybody. Please stay safe and healthy and merry map making, okay? I'll see you all on Wednesday, I hope. Auf Wiedersehen.